They said if you hear this sound for more than 7 seconds, you'll never be the same again. It's a chilling urban legend, one that has crawled out of the darkest corners of the internet and into our collective nightmares. But what if I told you there's more to it than just a scary story? What if the sound is real and its origins are far more terrifying than you could ever imagine? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of the broadcast zero frequency, a sound so disturbing, so profoundly unsettling, that it was allegedly banned worldwide. But as we all know, once something is on the internet, it's there forever. We're going to explore the story, analyze the evidence, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why some sounds should never be heard. Our story begins not on a creepy forum, but in a dusty, forgotten archive. In the late 1990s, a sound engineer named Marcus Thorne was tasked with digitizing old radio broadcasts from the mid-20th century. It was a tedious job, hours of static, old-fashioned jingles, and monotone news reports. But one reel, dated simply 1958, test signal, was different. It wasn't a program, it was a single, sustained, low-frequency hum. According to the logbook, it was just a standard carrier wave test, something used to check equipment. But Marcus had a keen ear. Hidden beneath the main hum was something else. A faint, almost imperceptible sub-frequency. Driven by professional curiosity, he isolated it. He ran the signal through his state-of-the-art filters, amplifying what was essentially audio dust. What came out of his studio monitors was strange. It wasn't music, it wasn't speech. It was a discordant, warbling tone that seemed to drill directly into his skull. He listened for just a few seconds, but an intense wave of nausea and dizziness washed over him. He shut it off, his heart pounding. The feeling was so visceral, so immediate, he thought he was having a panic attack. The next day, still feeling off, he mentioned the strange signal to a colleague, Lena. Intrigued, she asked to hear it. Marcus warned her, but she laughed it off. He played the isolated frequency. After about 5 seconds, Lena ripped the headphones off, her face pale. She complained of a piercing headache and a strange coppery taste in her mouth. That night, she called Marcus in a panic. She said she kept seeing fleeting shadows in the corner of her vision, like a tall, thin figure, just out of sight. This was the beginning of a terrifying pattern. Marcus, being a man of science, decided to conduct a small, informal experiment. He played the sound for a handful of trusted volunteers, never for more than 10 seconds, and carefully documented their experiences. The results were horrifyingly consistent. Every single person reported immediate physical discomfort, headaches, nausea, dizziness. But the psychological effects were even worse. Within 24 hours, almost all of them described vivid, disturbing hallucinations. They saw things, flickering lights, distorted faces in mirrors, and that same tall, shadowy figure lurking at the edge of their perception. A few even experienced minor nosebleeds or reported bleeding from their ears. The legend was born. Whispers of the cursed frequency, or Broadcast Zero, started circulating in niche audio engineering communities online. The initial reports were terrifying enough, but the mystery deepened when someone had a radical idea. What if the sound wasn't just a sound? What if it was a message? An amateur audio analyst, known only by the username Echo Sleuth, got a hold of a digitized copy of the sound. He noticed that the warbling tone had a strange rhythmic quality to it. It wasn't random noise. On a hunch, he did something simple yet ingenious. He reversed the audio file. What he heard sent a shockwave through the entire community. The reversed sound was no longer just a discordant tone. The warbles and clicks resolved into a clear, albeit distorted, human voice. It was a low, guttural whisper, repeating a simple, horrifying phrase over and over and over again. "Let me in!" Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! The words were layered, creating a disorienting chorus of desperation. The discovery changed everything. This wasn't just a harmful frequency, it was a deliberate transmission. Someone or something had encoded a message into a signal and broadcast it decades ago. But why? Who was speaking? And what exactly were they trying to get into? Our minds? Our world? The revelation that the sound contained a hidden message caused mass panic online. The original file and the reversed version went viral. This is when the official story says government agencies stepped in. Citing public safety concerns and the potential for mass hysteria, telecommunication watchdogs across the globe allegedly issued takedown notices. The audio file was classified as cognitohazardous, a danger to the mind, and hosting it became a violation of service for most major platforms. Broadcast Zero was officially banned. But of course, that wasn't the end. The internet is like a hydra. Cut off one head and two more grow in its place. Banning the sound only made it more alluring, more forbidden. Fragments of the audio, re-uploads, and remixed versions continued to float around on file-sharing sites, deep web forums, and video platforms, often hidden under innocuous names. The legend grew, and with it, the stories became even more bizarre. The core elements remained, the hallucinations, the bleeding ears, the shadow figure, but a new, terrifying twist emerged. People started reporting that they weren't seeking the sound out anymore. The sound was finding them. The most common and chilling claim is what S, now known as the 3:33 a.m. phenomenon. People swear that their devices, their phones, laptops, smart speakers, will turn on by themselves in the dead of night, precisely at 3:33 a.m., and play the sound. It happens even when the device is muted in airplane mode or completely disconnected from the internet. It plays for just a few seconds, long enough to wake them up, long enough to instill a cold, primal fear, and then it stops. Imagine that. You're asleep in the safety of your own room, and suddenly, from your phone on the nightstand, you hear that warbling, skull-drilling tone. You check your phone. No notifications, no open apps, nothing in your history. It's as if it never happened. But you heard it. And now you're awake, your heart is hammering against your ribs, and you can't shake the feeling that you're not alone. You start to wonder if that shadow in the corner of your room is just a trick of the light. This is the ultimate evolution of the Broadcast Zero legend. It's no longer just a creepy file you can choose to listen to. It has become an invasive entity, a digital ghost that bypasses our firewalls and our logic. Skeptics, of course, have explanations. Auditory pareidolia, where the brain finds patterns in random noise. Mass hysteria fueled by the internet. Sleep paralysis demons, confirmation bias. They argue that if you're scared of a sound playing at 3:33 a.m., you're more likely to wake up at that time and mistake any ambient noise for the dreaded frequency. But the sheer volume and consistency of the accounts are difficult to dismiss entirely. From the sound engineer who discovered it, to the people who heard it reversed, to the thousands who claim it haunts their devices at night, the story weaves a thread of compelling shared terror. The progression is a masterclass in horror. It starts with simple curiosity about a weird sound. That curiosity quickly turns to physical discomfort and unease. The discomfort blossoms into genuine fear as the psychological effects, the hallucinations, begin. And for some, that fear evolves into a chilling obsession, a need to understand what this thing is, even as it seems to be actively trying to break into their reality. So, what is Broadcast Zero? Is it a failed military experiment in psychological warfare? A prank by a rogue radio operator from the 1950s? Or is it something else? A genuine signal from somewhere else? A voice from another dimension, knocking on the door of our perception, whispering, "Let me in." The truth is, we don't know. And maybe we don't want to. The file is still out there if you know where to look. But I have to ask you, after everything you've just heard, are you brave enough to listen? Are you willing to risk finding out if the legend is true? Thank you so much for joining me on this dive into one of the internet's most disturbing mysteries. If you enjoy exploring the strange and unexplained, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't to miss our next investigation. Stay safe and maybe keep your devices off tonight.